Good evening. It is the Newfane Selectboard regular meeting, November 16th at 6 p.m. We're meeting here with Shari and Mike and Chris. Angela is on Zoom, and I'm Marion. And we've been having some issues with getting everything newly set up with new technology, and I think it'll be perfect soon, but please be patient, everybody, if there's some glitches tonight. We're trying our best, and certainly Winetta's working very hard on it. So, additions or amendments to the agenda. Does anybody have anything to add? Okay, no. Yep. Okay. Wait a minute.
Christopher, you didn't want to bring up the trail?
I'm sorry. Oh, did you want to talk?
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I
we got a
thought.
problem with a trailer I'd like to mention.
Yeah. Would you like to talk
What's
about?
the trail?
Huh?
What's the trail?
Town trail,
The one with the
road.
Do you want to explain that?
Well, do you want to do it as part of the road foreman's
Oh, we
report?
can
Yeah.
do that. Okay, great. Okay. We don't have an executive session planned for tonight.
No?
So the next is the approval of the minutes. The first set of minutes are for our regular meeting, which was on November 2nd.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any comments or questions? No? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
None.
Aye.
Okay,
Good, Angela.
okay, so it's unanimous, and thank you. We move on to November 9th budget meeting, and we have minutes for that. So if anybody would like to make a motion,
Make a motion to accept it.
I make a motion to accept them.
okay, second,
Oh, the second it?
okay.
No, I made the motion.
Yeah, you made the motion. You second it?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
Pay attention.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I wasn't there, so.
Aye.
Well, we still have a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Road foreman and road commissioners report. Jay Wilson is not here. I can read the report and then, or why don't you read? No, I know Chris.
I don't like to read out loud.
He loves to sit and listen. Okay, but
Concentrate
Chris,
more that way.
Chris would like to add something at the end. So, number one, Sawmill Road is ready at the entrance. We are waiting for DMI to come and pave. Number two, the Depot Road culvert update is that we have one easement still waiting on the bank and court for the other side of the road. Number three, Wyndham Regional put out the speed counters last week for the highway safety audit for the Newfane Village. Once they send the data, it will be forwarded to the audited people to include in the report. The sand salt shed update is that there are no updates. It's in process right now. Number five, we have now gravelled Adams Hill, Toby Hill, and Upper New Road. Thank you from J. Wilson Road Foreman. So are there any
I just,
motions to accept?
well, I just want to make a comment also.
Sure.
South Wardsboro Road was, raked or whatever and gravelled or whatever, and it looks good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
I've got, one thing on the roads.
Okay.
Up at the end of Hobby Hill Road, they closed off a town trail put a cable right across it.
And who is they?
I know his name, I can't think of it.
A private party, you mean?
Yeah,
Powers,
Powers,
Robert Powers.
Robert Powers.
He lives there?
Yeah, he lives out the end.
Mhm.
He's done it 2 or 3 times this summer, so I've been told. But I went and looked at it this weekend. Great big cable right across it. He has no right to do that.
So he lives out beyond that?
Yeah, way out.
So
That's almost a quarter of a mile, that's his house.
his access is what, by foot or by,
No, it's a road, he can drive out there.
oh, okay.
They used to go all the way through to Wadsboro.
Is this a town road?
It's a town trail.
Oh, town trail,
It's considered a town trail.
but vehicles can go on that?
Okay.
Can't stop them.
snowmobilers, whatever, you know. Worst thing is by putting a cable, unless he's really good at marking, anybody ever hit it, by the penalties.
He had a markman, I'll say that.
It is marked?
Oh, and he's got ribbons on it all the way, about a foot part all the way across. But he has
So,
no right to have it there, that's
Yeah.
right.
so,
Has anyone had a conversation as to why that was put up?
No,
so I guess how do we deal with it is the question. We have,
take it down.
Yeah, it'd have to be removed. But like I said, anybody ever went through and hit it, they probably sue the town.
yeah, well, it's gotta be removed. Do we just go out and remove it or,
Probably the best thing to do is send a letter telling them
Yeah.
to remove it, if not the road crew will have to take it down.
Yeah, that would be the best thing.
so give him X amount of time to remove it?
Just send him a letter.
It's a public access and it can't be blocked off.
Yeah, but if we give him a date of when it needs to be removed, it's as soon as possible,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
ASAP.
right? And we have Jay, follow up on it
By the 1st of December, right?
by the 1st of December. So we have a
Is this
action.
a resident or a vacation?
Yeah, that's-
So that's, 1st of December is basically little over 2 weeks.
that's plenty of time.
Okay.
Take him 5 minutes to do it.
So Winetta, can you write that letter on behalf of the Newfane Selectboard? With authorization from the town commissioner and road foreman?
That it's illegal to put that there. It has to be removed. And he has until December 1st to do it, otherwise the town will remove it.
There is one in the town of Newfane, the person had permission, and it's been there probably 40 years.
Oh my
That's on the, down by you,
Oh,
the
railroad line.
railroad lane. There's a gate there.
Right.
The guy got permission,
That's a gate though.
yeah, but it's on wheels, you can open it.
Right.
Oh,
And it
no.
says on it, please close it when you go through.
That's a gate.
Yeah,
Like I said, like a cable, worst thing ever. So I went through the snow machine,
Yeah,
got hung up in it, or something like that.
decapitate them in a
Yeah, it
hurry.
was against the law, you can put cables up in it anymore, right?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, and Winetta will write to him, and we will let this person know that he has a little over 2 weeks, December 1st deadline. And,
or otherwise it will be removed.
yeah. Okay. So, any comments or questions about Jay Wilson's road foreman's report? If not, is there a motion to accept it?
That motion said that.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? I don't see you. Where's Angela?
I think she's missing.
There she is.
There she is, all the way on the right. Angela?
Yeah.
I said aye. I approve.
Yeah, we didn't see you. Okay, thank you, Angela. Okay. The next is administrative assistance report. And we don't have that this week. We will catch up with it next time. Okay. Now we're moving on to scheduled members of the public. And tonight that means that we have several people who are on Zoom to request appropriations for their particular organizations. And Winetta, are we doing this? Would you like to lead this part because you know who's here and,
Christine?
Yeah, can you hear me?
okay.
Okay.
I'd just like to say
Hey, Christine.
to everybody, we'll have, let's say, 4 or 5 minutes the most for people to speak so that we can get everybody, okay?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for having me. I am the general manager of the MOOver. You had formerly known the town appropriations going to the current. We're all one company under Southeast Vermont Transit. We're a nonprofit transit agency that provides fixed route and elderly and disabled transportation for demand response. And we're just finishing a rebranding. So from this point moving forward, we're just known as the MOOver Wilmington and the MOOver Rockingham. So just for future reference. So I am the new general manager. We sent a town appropriations letter as well as the application for your review. Last year, Newfane was incredibly generous and offered and donated for us $750 towards our transportation. It's local appropriations, which is our local share of funding to match our grants. We provided 194 rides within the town of Newfane with van and volunteer service for elderly and disabled demand response. The cost of that was $5,926, so it's quite the value. We have a couple of regular clients that we serve every week in Newfane, as well as a few other clients that just take non-emergency medical trips. So that's about all I have to talk about, but I'm here to answer questions if there's any other questions or.
So it looks like your gross revenue last year was $5,668,000 and change, and then your last year
Revenue, yeah.
your last year expenses were $5,451,000. So you had some extra.
We had a little bit of extra, yeah, which is rare. Actually, a lot of that was because of the federal CARES money. The grants got switched in the last quarter. Some of the grants used to be a 50-50, and they turned in 100% funding just because of CARES money. So they were trying to help us out with cleaning expenses and so forth. Unfortunately, that kind of went back to what it was. So we basically run a level budget, we break even budget, and we serve about 36 different towns total with our entire Wyndham and South Windsor territory in both divisions. So it's quite a large territory.
So the $750 contribution, and they've provided 15 clients for 194 rides. So
I make a motion to it.
yeah, and I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or further comments?
No.
Okay, great.
Thank you for your services.
All those in favor?
Thank you very much for your support.
Wait, we have to vote. Minor little detail. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you, Christine. And
Thank you so much.
and thank you for your services.
You're very welcome.
Now, I thought that the appropriations, we were just listening and then discussing them in budget
Oh,
instead of passing each one as it goes.
we've been reprimanded.
So you're gonna thank everybody for the information, but
Okay.
then it goes to budget meeting
Okay.
with the paperwork.
We have to go to budget meeting.
But you've already approved this one, but.
We
going
approved
forward-
it.
Good, no worries.
I think we approved them last time, didn't we, too?
No.
There was a couple that.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to be doing that.
Okay, well, thank you. Don't worry,
Thank you.
it'll be fine. Okay, Winetta, who is next, please?
Kate from Green Up.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Hi, Gloria, our volunteer town coordinator for Newfane. Bravo. I'm here speaking on behalf of Green Up Vermont. It is a 50-year-old nonprofit started by Governor Dean Davis in 1970. And our mission is to not only produce Green Up Day, but also to spread awareness and stewardship for a clean environment for Vermont year-round. And we do that by educating, supplying educational materials to K through 12 schools throughout Vermont. We also spread awareness and stewardship by doing extra activities throughout the year. For example, this summer we helped with Burlington Parks in having them develop a park stewardship program where volunteers would come into the park and help clean up once a month, once a week, and once a week. So there are extra activities that Green Up does throughout the year, as well as just Green Up Day. Last year we had about just under 14,000 volunteers statewide. We picked up over 241 tons of trash statewide and over 9,000 tires. It's unfortunate that littering is still a problem, but it does happen. And it's important for Green Up Vermont to stay in action, to recruit all of these volunteers for this one-day event, but also to spread the stewardship throughout the year. Our main goal of the educational materials and working with our youth is to build pride in youth, in their environments, in their communities, and also give them kind of a civic engagement lesson so that they really are connected to their communities and see how good it feels to outreach and do some community service. And Green Up is something that everyone can do. It doesn't matter what your income is. It doesn't matter how many people are in your family. It doesn't matter where you go to school or where you work or if you don't work. Green Up can be done by all of us. And it's important to keep that pride and civic engagement alive in our youth. So we are requesting the level funding at $100. I do want to make special note that Gloria is our volunteer town coordinator for Newfane, and her statistics that she gave at the end of Green Up Day last year, you had specifically for Newfane, you had 60 volunteers, 40 miles of roads, sides cleaned, 110 bags of trash picked up, and 4 tires, along with also some metal. So just imagine what 110 bags of trash would, compounded monthly, daily, would look like on the sides of your roads. It's important to keep this going for the not only the environment, but the beauty aspect of your neighbor. It helps residents, it helps businesses thrive as well. So we continue to ask for your support at $100 level, and we appreciate everything that Newfane has done, your residents, Gloria, and all of you have done to keep this going.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate all you do. And I know Shelley, weren't you in charge of this for a few years?
Yeah, couple of years.
Mhm. And it's very important. It's something that one wouldn't expect to find in Vermont, because we are so appreciative of the nature and the beauty around us, but unfortunately, it's part of life, I guess. And so we thank everybody who participates with you and your group.
And if I could just say something too, that usually the V-Trans cleans up on Route 30, and they didn't do that. And so as I was driving, there are certain patches of Route 30 now that the foliage and all of the bushes have died back, that you can see the result of the compounding of it not being cleaned up. So if we find that that might be the case next year, we might want to go ahead and even do the Route 30 sections of that.
Yeah, I used to do Route 30, but I understood that they were doing it, but I didn't realize they did not do it last year.
I thought I heard that they didn't do it this year, but I mean, this last green up.
So maybe Kate can tell us.
I can
Maybe Kate
speak
can tell us.
to the fact that there were many budget cuts with both state and town municipal workers. So that may have been an unfortunate effect of that. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, but I had heard that.
And we couldn't do the typical green up this last year. And so the people just went ahead and did the green up. And I'm sure that there are a lot more bags of trash that were picked up and just taken to individual homes and put into their own
That's
trash
been a
collection.
consistent.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been a consistent message throughout all Vermont town coordinators. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, tonight. Okay.
Thank
Renetta?
Joan Weir from Williamsville School Preservation. Good evening, Joan.
Hi there. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I serve on the board of the Williamsville School Preservation Society, which is a small nonprofit that owns and maintains the old Williamsville School in the village of Williamsville. We have owned this property since the early 1980s, and for many, many years have not only maintained this historic building, but also leased out the first floor to the Timpson Hill Preschool. And they run a very active childcare and aftercare program and continue to thrive in this location. So each year we come before the select board to ask for a $1,000 appropriation to help us in our mission of owning and maintaining this building. And the town has been very generous over the years, has always provided that level of funding, and we hope that that can continue. We will plan to use that appropriation for a exterior painting fund. We won't be planning to do any painting this year, but generally we, need to save up towards, $10,000 to $12,000 to actually paint the entire exterior. So that's what we would intend to use the appropriation for. We would essentially be saving it in a fund for the future. We serve really all of Newfane. In your application, you wondered how many people were actually being served. And I thought about that a lot and realized that by maintaining this historic building, we're doing that for the whole community. And certainly by leasing the building to Timpson Hill Preschool, they are providing a very essential service to our young families in the area. So we hope that you will continue your support, and happy to answer any questions.
Do most of the kids come from the Newfane area, or do you have other, well, you wouldn't know necessarily from Timpson School.
Right. What we know is that there are students from Newfane and the surrounding towns. So it's not just the town of Newfane that it serves. Goes beyond that.
Well, I like the idea that you're earmarking the money for painting, for exterior work. So, what do you have
One interesting fact that you may or may not know is that this building was owned by the town of Newfane and the Newfane School District. And the deed that was conveyed to the Williamsville School Preservation Society basically indicates that so long as we own, maintain, and insure this building, we can continue to own it. But if we fail, that the property reverts back to the town. So, so we are in some ways working as your agent to keep this going. And so that's one of the reasons we feel it's critical that we need the town's support to help us do this.
It went to my family.
Right.
And it wasn't used.
Well, that's a good bit of information to consider.
Thank you. Anybody have a question? So, what we were saying before is that we have a budget meeting every other week at this point, and we review all the applications, and so you'll be hearing from us after we've interviewed everybody, and I'm sure
Am I late?
No.
Did you say something, Angela? No.
I think Gloria did.
Oh,
What did Gloria say?
I don't know. Well, thank you, Joan, for coming to our Zoom meeting, and it was good to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Winetta?
Okay, so I have Howe Moore from Healthcare and Rehabilitation Services of Southeastern Vermont.
First off, yes, Joanne just came in from Senior Solutions, so she'll be after me, but she's here now. So, well, thank you for having me tonight. I am the Chief Financial Officer for HCRS. We're the designated service agency for Windham and Windsor counties, and we've been providing services to all these communities since 1967. So we've been around for a wee bit, and we're one of 10 other designated agencies across the state who provide community mental health services to the areas. We're looking for funding, and thank you very much for your past support for our, what we call our access navigator position. And what that is that the position that when we get calls from the, either they call on the phone, they used to come in and visit us, they still might one day when we're out of COVID. And we are able to hook them up with services and bring them in. One thing that we did start this year, which is we now have what we call open access, which means that we have 3 access navigators, one in Brattleboro, one in Springfield, and one in Hartford. And what they can do is if someone calls and they say they need services, which means that they will be able to get in the same day. And we're going to start it in actually April 1st, but we sort of got delayed because of the COVID. But we did start it on October 1st. And I know in our first month of operating it, we had 100, we were bringing 100 people in the same day, which is an amazing, it's a wonderful thing, because it's hard enough to get people to come in the door to make the phone call and to be able to connect with them and get them into services, or is a great, it's wonderful. It's a service that isn't necessarily funded by the state. It's just part of us trying to meet our mission and bring clients in to be served. Once they're in, then we can, obviously we can get reimbursed by, paid by the state for that. Right now, we have, and we look to the communities to help fund that program for those 3 programs. We have 46 communities that we serve, and 38 communities last year passed on their warrant, provided funds to do that, and Newfane obviously was one of them. And thank you very much for that. Last year we provided services to 24 Newfane residents, which was like 524 hours of services across all our different programs. We might have served other people through the other clients through the services. We have a police social worker, and we have other services we provide that we don't necessarily track, quote, we can't track to see where the service was, but we have quite the network. And we're also we manage, or we run Kindle Farm School in Newfane. That is now, they're one of the programs that came under our wing a number of years ago, when I think now 8 years now, I think, because I remember coming up here to do that. I love coming to Newfane. So I don't know if anyone has any questions for me.
Yeah, I do. Where are you located, and how do people find you if they are in need?
Well, we have an outpatient office in Brattleboro at Fairview Street. And our home office is Springfield. And we have another office up in Hartford. But so they can call. We have a, I don't have that number on me, but you can call. We have a number that you can call. And if you like, I can send that to you all.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send you some information on that.
Okay, thank you.
The whole program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because we could post it and have it available for people
Right.
to answer questions.
Oh, yeah. We do have posters.
Good.
Okay.
We'll take care of that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a comment or question? Okay. Well, again, we thank you for participating with us tonight, and we wish you all the best, good health, and you will hear from us soon.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much for being there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Winetta?
I have Joanne and housing from Senior Solutions, and she's partnering with
Hi.
Gloria together.
Hi, how are you? Thanks. I almost didn't make it, but thank goodness I found the Zoom address and here I am. So I would like to thank you for letting me give you a little presentation. Not sure how much you know about Senior Solutions, but we've been in operation since 1973 as part of the V4A, or Councils on Aging, throughout Vermont. And we're funded primarily, the bulk of our funding comes from the Older Americans Act, which is federal money. We do get some state funds which help us operate some of our nutrition programs. And the rest we get through grants. And we do get some from town funding, which we greatly appreciate, because if we don't have a connection with the towns, how do we know what to do for people? So I'll go real briefly. I don't know if I guess I should tell you, like, our mission is to promote the well-being and dignity of all older adults in Vermont. And our vision is that we want every person who will age in the place of their choice, with the support that they need for meaningful relationships and active engagement in their community. And now, as we all know, with COVID, isolation and loneliness is almost getting to be as big a killer as COVID-19. It really impacts on the health, especially of the older population, who many times live in actual environmental isolation, which then adds and exacerbates their social and mental isolation. So as part of that, one of our really wonderful programs that we have been doing the last few years is our visitor programs, which we have 3. The Senior Companion Federal Program, which is morphing, but we still have it. We have a Friendly Visitor Program, which means anybody of any age can be the visitor. And we vet them, we do background checks on everyone. And our newest is our Vet to Vet Visitor Program, which partners a vet who is, active and can get around with a veteran who maybe is no longer either ambulatory, can't drive, can't go out and socialize. And what it is, it has been really successful because it's an extension of the buddy system that all veterans have experienced, no matter which branch of the armed forces they've been in boot camp, they all get the buddy system. So it's like they each have each other's back. And I have to tell you, our volunteer visitor coordinator who does all these programs, it's her vision and her passion. She really has done a wonderful job. And I personally have experienced it because I've been to your congregate meal site at the Congregation Church in Newfane. And I was lucky enough to be able to go and sit down at a table with one of our volunteers for the Vet to Vet program, Jack Green. And he was sitting with one of his partners who was a World War II Air Force vet. And it was just wonderful to see the camaraderie and to be able to know that there are
Connect by screen sharing wireless. That's 01. On your PC, select actions and more devices in the notification area of the taskbar. That's 02. Then select connect or project and complete the connection process by select mute.
I can't hear. Do you want to know, should I go to something else here? For what we provide to Newfane, we have received 90 calls and office visits from Newfane residents in the past year. We also have gotten 31 calls and visits for Medicare assistance and advice from Newfane. In-home social services have been received by 13 residents. And nutrition, 18 adults have received 2,053 home delivered meals. And we have 6 people in Newfane who received our flex funds. That's help that we give to people that are not covered by other agencies or other resources. Am I not heard?
I'm listening. I hear everything.
Okay, thanks.
Your organization is so important, and I appreciate everything that you do for our seniors in our area.
Okay, thank you. We also have 4 of your residents who are participating in our visitor services. So there's other things we do, like caregiver respite for people who are taking care of loved ones that have dementia. There's a lot of, we try to collaborate with local and regional transportation services if people want to reserve a van or minibus or something. We don't do Meals on Wheels. In other words, the congregation church does it and community partners do it. So, but we get the money through the government and we don't get enough to give enough to the providers.
Right.
But we give as much as we can. And because we are the administrator responsible to hire a dietitian to oversee the menus, and that dietitian can give a one-on-one consultation to any Meals on Wheels recipient.
That's great.
Call our helpline. And do you know the helpline number? I'll give it to you.
Yes, please.
That's 802-885-2669.
2669.
And we have a couple of people that answer the helpline in our office. And then when we're not around, if the answering people will get a call back in at the most 2 days. So we try to be very responsive and take care of people. We help them with 3 squares signing up. We help them with fuel assistance. We have a Pearls program, which helps to counsel people with minimal depression before it gets too serious. If it does seem like it's really serious, we will refer them to a psychologist.
Yeah.
Do you have questions? Because I'm rambling. There's just so much to say.
You're doing a great job, Joanne.
Oh, I forgot. We're on the community partner committee for the Weir library for your oral history for the community history. And I don't know if I'll remember it all, but I learned a lot in the 4 Saturday workshops that we went to in October. So yeah, anything people need. The thing is, we want people to call us. We don't want people to worry and say, oh, I can't take care of this or that. Call us and we'll worry about it. And we'll find some resources.
Well, it's such a great organization, Joanne, and thank you so much for your presentation. It was wonderful.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity and good luck to and we're asking for the same amount, $1,150 that we've been asking for the last few years. And thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you, Angela.
I just took over from Doris. You just.
Hey, Gloria.
Go off of your computer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear everybody.
Yeah, there's just some extraneous things going on. I just wanted to add that it seems to me I took over Doris. Was ready to be finished with this, and you just appointed me.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We've had some technical difficulties, and so we apologize, but we all appreciate the work that your group does, and that the things that you shared are very important, particularly about COVID now, and isolation and loneliness is very important in addition to everything else that seniors go through.
Yeah, go to source.
So right now, we don't have a picture up. We're working off of a laptop, so just give us a second.
It's a wireless connection. You're broadcasting this.
For this, yes. But I'm supposed to be able to bring this back up and just connect the wireless.
I'll be having a nervous breakdown to do. The work.
Did you go to source?
That whole green up thing like that on the state highways. I don't know why they have anybody's doing that.
That's nice.
See the road.
They do themselves.
Yeah. I think they are over here, but nothing won't their house left, you know.
Hey, we pay to feed the bastards.
Wow. What's it cost? So it's much of
We're still trying to get the connection to the large screen here in the office.
That's being cruel.
Thank you so much.
I think they should have to.
Discoverable. Is there like a button that you press to
Yeah.
search?
2 years ago, we hired, they had a supervisor. They did a lot of work around the roads here. That brush and stuff. I don't know how the hell I let this chainsaw. They weren't bad criminals, they were just bad people, bad boys.
Yeah.
That he's as loud as he is.
Display information. Display one.
As we say in Chinese, wo bu zhi dao.
Joanne, I would just like to say that I go walking almost every night with my dog, and I check in with a lot of my elderly neighbors to make sure that they're okay and if they need anything.
Oh, that's great, Angela.
It's very important to make sure everybody's okay. It's a scary time.
It means a lot to them. It really does.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference, even 5 minutes below.
And I don't think if it, you know, if you're 5-year-old or if you're 95, just to make sure everybody's feeling.
Absolutely. That's
what community is all about. So
isn't it wonderful? We have found that our Vermont communities, our Vermont people have been so responsive and just reaching out to help in any way they can.
Yeah.
No, it's really, really gratifying.
Sorry, my dog.
That's
To
okay.
add to the commotion.
Hey, you want to be part of this too.
Yeah, but I wanted to say too that Senior Solutions has tied in so much and provided kind of a network with the Newbrook neighbors that we started in Newfane, as well as the expansion of that to the West River Valley Mutual Aid.
Yeah.
And I know that I get calls or contacts from people in Senior Solutions, and I did this even before I was a representative, to can I deliver food? One time I went all the way to Springfield, and 298 miles later, you know, I got home.
Wow.
From distributing the food. But the other thing is that it's telephone calls with Newbrook neighbors. I've got some people who say, I can't go out and do this, but I can make phone calls. So we have a couple of people who are doing that and providing that assistance.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean,
they also get, you know, I get a call because Senior Solutions said, you know, call Gloria, and I do Meals on Wheels, deliver them in Brattleboro.
oh, nice.
So it's just a nice network, making sure people are covered.
Well, Gloria, do you find that by volunteering so much, it even makes you feel better?
Oh, yeah. I mean, somebody asked me to respond in some and said, you know, what are you doing? And, you know, how has COVID been? And then it's COVID for me. It's like, I'm doing this, and I'm going to go down tomorrow with the Vermont Food Bank and help distribute. I got another Newbrook neighbor woman to come with me.
Wow.
At these community places, like there might be 30 people in this apartment complex, like Melrose. So we're going to deliver the meals.
That's fantastic.
It just, you know, those things that if we can
you're doing as much as like 3 or 4 other people.
Well, I have the time, and you know, it keeps me active. Or I'd be sitting here in front of my fire, just
enjoying the warmth.
But anyway, so I think that the connection of things, and I was just on West River Valley Thrives, and theirs is more directed to youth than it is to, but Meg has been part of the conversation for the Newbrook neighbors. And I think that, you know, providing things like somebody's going to go and fix somebody's roof. I built a set of stairs for somebody. You know, it's just things that need to be done, and people don't have the ability to do it, nor do they have the funds necessarily.
Yeah, it's a combination.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
community
even
is all about too.
Yep, exactly.
And,
So,
you know, when COVID first hit, I was supposed to get some work done on my porch. But then the contractors were not considered to be essential workers.
exactly.
So I can't imagine people that, you know, are really out in the country and they don't have a lot of people to call on.
That's right.
Our friends and neighbors are crucial.
Absolutely. I grew up in this area. I actually was born and raised in Newfane, and it is one of the things I like to do is give back to my community that gave me such a great childhood. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
it
nice.
is.
That's really great. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Well, now that we've had this good conversation, how are you doing? And Shari?
Are they operational?
Hi, Shari. I'm not sure where they are at the office though.
Well,
We're having our own meeting.
3 of them sitting there.
Well, here, let's see. Marion, how's it going at the office?
It's not going really well.
No,
No,
but you can hear us, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you think we could
Laptop.
do you think we could have who's
Steve
the
and
next person?
Just audio.
It's Steve. Do you think we could have Steve do his presentation?
Yeah, we'll have to turn up the volume off this here.
Okay, that'd be great. That way we can keep going. We can hear everybody
There
tonight.
we go.
That would be good.
All right, I'm gonna take over and say, Steve, you're on.
Okay, good.
Are we ready?
We're ready for you, Steve.
Everybody's paying attention. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we'll get through them. We've gotten through 8-9 months of COVID. We'll get through
That's right.
this slight glitch. As everybody has, I want to thank all of you and all the residents of Newfane for all your past support over many, many years to help us do what we do and help people who have various needs that they need assistance with. For those who don't know, we're Southeastern Vermont Community Action, known as SEVCA generally, and I'm Steve Geller. I'm the executive director of SEVCA. We're the designated anti-poverty agency serving Windham and Windsor counties, and we've been doing that since the beginning of the war on poverty in 1965. In overall summary, I can tell you that we provided over $166,000 worth of services to Newfane residents, 39 distinct individuals in 28 households, and they include a wide range of services, including emergency and basic needs services, such as crisis fuel assistance, emergency housing, rent arrears, security deposits, other kinds of things that keep people from becoming homeless or enable them to get housing if they are homeless, and many other crisis resolution services. We provided a great deal of weatherization to people in Newfane this past year, which includes a heating system repair and replacement, often in the dead of winter when people would be without heat, or with fumes, toxic fumes coming into their homes, and we make it warm and safe and healthy for them. We provided income tax preparation assistance for a number of people, financial counseling, a match savings program for people to meet their financial goals. Somebody mentioned helping with 3 Squares Vermont. I think that was you, Joanne. We do that as well. We do outreach and help people with the applications for that, what used to be called the food stamp program is now 3 Squares Vermont. and general information referral and assistance in many, many ways. We also have a relatively new program that some Newfane residents participated in this year, our new solar energy credits from our community solar array at our office in Westminster. And those credits go out to people who have high energy cost burdens and help them meet their energy needs at no cost. We provide we split as many of those credits as we can get from our solar array with the people who need them. Other services that we provided in previous years include small business startups and support, workforce development and training, home repair, vouchers to our thrift stores for people who are in dire straits, disaster recovery, such as we had with Irene in 2011, and many, many other things. Of course, most recently, we've been right in the middle of providing relief and recovery services to COVID-related issues and people who've been impacted by COVID, a whole variety of projects that have doubled our budget this year to serve people who are needing that assistance because of one reason or another, either the health crisis or the economic crisis that has resulted, or both. And we provided an enormous amount of assistance just from all of the money that we've been able to get to help people who have been impacted by COVID. One of the things that we're very proud of is this new statewide program called Vermont Everyone Eats, which they've been doing in Brattleboro and in 14 other regional hubs around the state, which SEVCA is the statewide coordinator for that program, which provides nutritious meals to COVID impacted residents by supporting local restaurants, farmers, and food producers to keep them in business, keep their employees working, and enable them to prepare and to distribute those meals to people who need them, in this time of need. Last year's services were provided for just $1,600 in town support, which we've been getting for many years. That amounts to less than 1% of the value of those services. Or looked at another way, for every dollar the community provides to support our work, the residents of the community get back over $100 worth of services, which is a pretty good return on investment when you think about it. Over the past 5 years, SEVCA has provided almost $415,000 worth of services to 330 residents in 170 households for just a total of 5 times $1,600 each year, or $8,000 overall, which is just under 2% of the total value of the services provided. Now, it's important for you to know that while only a small portion of our budget comes from the town support, that support is a critical part of our funding because it's the most flexible funding we have. The vast majority of our grants and other funds are very restricted to a particular purpose or a particular, set of contracted, expenses that we have to use it for. And with the money we get from all the local communities, we're able to identify the needs that we see on the ground that people have, that you tell us about, that the people who have the needs are telling us about, and we can use that money to help us meet those needs, whereas sometimes the things that we get funded for are not what people need, and we might be able to help them with those, but the other things they need, we can't. So the unrestricted, this flexible funding is very important to help us do things that we would otherwise not be able to do. It goes without saying that we enormously appreciate the residents of Newfane's consistent and generous support over so many years. We're asking for the same amount, the $1,600 we've received for many, many years in the past, despite the fact that the total value of our services to town residents has increased dramatically over the past 5 years. And last year's, it more than doubled from last year's value. So we'll continue to do that. We're now providing many more services, hopefully on a temporary basis for people affected by COVID. And we'll continue to do that as long as that money holds up and the needs continue to arise. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about our services or any of our operations.
I would like to say thank you first for all that you do for our residents and for everyone that needs all the services and help that they ask for. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary job that you do, and that you can remember all the things that you're doing is amazing, because you're covering so much area in somebody's life, physical, emotional, financial, health-wise. So thank you, and thank all the people in Sevka. I've heard about you for years, and I applaud your work, and you're a tremendous organization to support the people in Vermont.
Yes, outstanding.
Thank you so much. I have to say, with all the other representatives of organizations here, and some of them have alluded to the fact that none of us do this work in an isolated way. We all work together. We're all community partners that we may not be able to give it, someone or a household everything they need, but working with Senior Solutions and HCRS and all the other organizations that work together, that cliche that it takes a village to get people the help they need. We've had that happen so many times that the needs we've seen are so great, and we've been able to meet those needs by collectivizing, collaborating, and getting people all those needs through all our collective work together. So I'm proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely. It's all intertwined organizations that help everybody get the services that they need.
Right. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I think we're all very lucky to live in Vermont, because everybody's there to help each other as a good team.
Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Great.
May I introduce Shari from the Wyndham Freedom Center, Women's Freedom Center, sorry.
Okay, you got it.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here, and thank you for all the work that you do for our community. So I'm actually filling in for Vicki, our director. So I have a brief statement that I would love to read, and then I'm also happy to answer any questions if you have them. So just for folks who maybe aren't as familiar, the mission of the Women's Freedom Center is to work to end physical, sexual, and emotional violence against women and children of Windham County. The Freedom Center works to fulfill its mission by educating the community regarding the root causes of violence against women, challenging the systems that help keep that in place, and providing support and services, including shelter, safe housing, to women and their children who've experienced domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and dating violence. Since our beginnings in 1977, we've provided support to survivors of these crimes, as well as consultations, educational activities to a wide range of community groups to help create a community in which violence is not tolerated. Emergency support such as shelter, safety planning, financial assistance, and information and referral is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Ongoing individual support for women and children, legal and medical services. Sorry, my computer's not cooperating here. More tech issues. My apologies. Whoops. Let's see if I can get this to go. Thanks for your patience. Legal, medical services, housing, social services, advocacy, and cooperative work with other agencies are provided during the week. Due to the rural nature of Windham County and the isolation inherent in many abusive relationships, we're committed to meeting with women wherever we may do that safely. Sometimes that means assisting them to get to us, and other times it means us going to them wherever they're safe in the community. During the fiscal year of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, the Women's Freedom Center responded to over 1,900 crisis telephone calls, sheltered 125 people, and provided thousands of hours of individual and group support, crisis services, advocacy, emergency financial and housing assistance, access to legal representation, transportation, and childcare to 1,163 people. 711 were women, 34 were men, and 418 were children who had been abused. These figures include 8 survivors and 1 child from Newfane. In addition, we provided 24 community outreach activities, including school presentations and workshops to over 650 people in our community throughout Windham and Southern Windsor County. The Women's Freedom Center is a private nonprofit organization relying heavily on community support to provide our free and confidential services. We thank you for your town's contribution to the Freedom Center and hope you're going to look at that as an investment in creating a future free from violence, something that we all deserve.
I would like to say thank you so much for everything you all do. You're a wonderful team and you provide such a great service to women, children, and men, and any survivor of domestic violence. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And did she mention men? You also handle cases with men who have been abused?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We always want to make sure our community knows we still have, part of our original grassroots name of the used to be Women's Crisis Center actually in the mid 70s, and we changed it to Women's Freedom Center. But we're committed to supporting survivors of all genders who've experienced domestic or sexual violence, or something we've begun seeing a little bit more of in recent years, which is sex trafficking. So we know that can happen to all genders, and we support every single person that needs that kind of help.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Like what?
All right.
So again, you mentioned that we'll be reviewing it.
Yes, we will be reviewing all the applications from the different organizations. We have our next budget meeting on Monday, November 23rd, and we're hopefully will be complete with the budgeting by the end of November. So you will hear from us, and we thank you all for your presentations.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, good night.
Bye.
Bye, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, at least this time it was documented.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Where
Bye,
people
Joanne.
go on.
Take care,
Right,
see
they
you.
can hear about this.
yeah,
You too.
absolutely.
Okay.
Angela's
left. I mean, Angela's still here.
Oh, Angela. Hi, Angela.
Oh, there you are. Okay, we're up to unscheduled members of the public, and I don't think we have any, is that correct?
Correct.
So, old business is Penna Road, and again, because Jay Wilson is not here, and I just spoke to Chris while we were waiting for the technical problems to be solved, and I think we're just going to postpone the issue again until our next select board meeting, which is December 7th. We will get to this, but it's not the right time.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New business. Okay. This is an announcement that we had 3 applicants several weeks ago who came to interview for a part-time employee for data entry position. All 3 applicants were very lovely people and qualified people, and we did finally make a decision to hire Katie Bristol. So she was in the office today. She has started working with the listers, and I'm sure she'll do very well. And we also, again, want to thank the other applicants. You were very impressive to us, and it's always hard to make a final decision, but we had to do it. And so, good luck and all the best to you. Okay. Due to the COVID-19 warning for town meetings that normally are on the second Tuesday of the first Tuesday of the month of March, it is under discussion right now through the state of Vermont in terms of how and if we're going to be able to meet that date and meet in town meeting and concerning with clusters of people being together in one space. And so we have information from the VLCT, the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and nothing has been decided, but it's definitely being discussed in our building too. Does anybody want to say something about that?
Well, I think we should make this available on our website for people to understand.
Yeah.
Because there's specific methods, for articles, voter-backed petitions.
There's no need for petitions for anybody that's running, but they still have to register with the town clerk if they want to be put on the ballot. But you don't need to fill out a petition.
Okay.
And have people contact
Because
other
of COVID?
side. Right.
Yes.
Okay. But there's information in this VLCT quick guide to town meeting.
Okay.
And because it's becoming, we're not sure how it's gonna be handled, those that needed to understand what we're going to be looking at and considering, those are the rules at this time.
Right. So one of the things that's been discussed so far is that if we were not to meet as a large group of people for town meeting day in March, we still would have Australian ballot voting because there are positions that are ending in March. There are people who want to get in on the ballot and be voted in. Other things that need to be voted on have to be done, as far as we know right now, still on March 2nd.
Yep, the budget.
I mean, first Tuesday in the month of March, if we don't meet in our standard town meeting day, there will still be Australian ballot voting, and of course, you would know well in advance where that would be held.
And all the information will be made available prior to your Australian ballot
Yes.
voting.
Yes.
So there would be an informational meeting with things discussed, what the
Yeah.
budget is, who's running, what's under consideration, what's a new article.
Right.
All of that will be in an informational meeting.
Yeah. Do you expect that that's going to be a special meeting? Have you been hearing about that, or is it?
It would be something that the select board would give as a special select board meeting prior to town meeting.
Yeah.
So we could do it.
Can we do this at a regular meeting, just focus on that
Yes.
topic? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We should also invite our moderator to be a part of that so that we can
discuss. On one of the last paragraphs, it does say to make plans early.
Yeah.
And include the moderator with any decisions that are being considered.
Right.
Yeah.
And Deb Luskin is our moderator as voted from last year.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are the important things that we needed to let people know.
Okay.
Correspondence?
Correspondence?
Just that one letter. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss it or if we just put it in the folder that, we acknowledge that they received the
Yeah, I think,
policy and animal control.
yeah, it's about, we've discussed this in the last few weeks, that we do not have an animal control officer at this point. So there have been people wanting to know what's going to happen with that. Lynetta, do you want to say what the Wyndham shelter?
Well, I spoke with Mark Anderson at Wyndham County Sheriff's Department, and he is in the beginning stages of creating a regional animal control officer. And right now, Newfane is among 4 other towns that are interested in having that services and being informed when that project is available to us. He did mention that he would be willing to come to one of our meetings to discuss it further on what the cost would be, and he's hoping to have a larger area. He did mention 32 other towns, so whether or not there's a need that large, or if it's just going to be, Wyndham County.
Okay, I think that's it.
Yep.
So again, everybody be safe, have a good evening, stay warm, and we will see you on Monday, December 7th. Good night.